Buried is an interactive story. The plot will change based on the choices you make. The story is broken into 5 chapters. Play straight through or at your own pace. There is no waiting and no pauses. Enjoy and choose wisely. So what's up, gamers? My name's Jax Foxfire and welcome back to the channel. So today I decided I wanted to play Buried, which is an interactive story. And previously, I have seen some other YouTubers play the game, and I've only watched maybe the first 2 episodes of their playthroughs, and that was just enough to get me interested in it and want to do it for myself. I'm just going to acknowledge that I apologize if you have watched other people's playthroughs of this, and I have similar choices that I make. Since this is a choice-based game, I don't want you to think I'm copying them, because it's basically how I'm playing it right now. I'm not trying to copy anyone, and I just wanted to let you guys know that, because I know people can be really judgmental and really rude when it comes down to people saying, oh, you're copying bigger YouTubers so you get more views and stuff, and that's not how it works. If I wanted more views, I would do a clickbait or something, but I'm not. So I'm just gonna play Buried, and yeah, I was really interested in it when I watched some other people play it, and I thought to myself, if I'm gonna play it, I want to share it with you, because I reckon I've only actually seen one other YouTuber play it, so it's not exactly that popular. But I just really want to play it myself, because it apparently has alternate endings, and it has really good reviews so far, so I just wanted to play it. So let's get into it, and I'm sorry you're gonna have to listen to my annoying voice for this entire thing, but that's okay, because there's really cool pictures and really cool audio at the same time. So, in that case, let's begin. This is what I mean by the pretty pictures, by the way. I open my eyes, and the first thing I want to do is scream. I'm flat on my back and everything seems to hurt. The trees overhead look familiar. It's a clear night sky, almost beautiful. Except for the fact that this means I've been out cold for at least 6 hours. But there's something wrong. I don't remember what. But something happened, and my head. God, my head hurts. And a ring in my ears. Was there an accident? An explosion, I think. I remember Dennis screaming. But after that, I can't remember. As I sit up, I notice that my hard hat has been thrown off. I look around the area, but it's not there. It feels strange to go anywhere without my hard hat, but I've got to find the other members of my crew. They could be in danger. So, searching for the hard hat could result in my character getting hurt more. I'm not sure. And searching for other people, like your crew, is personally a better option, because then you, like, there's strength in numbers, right? And you can, like, comfort each other after an accident, I suppose. I decide my hat can wait until I figure out what's going on. I get up and take a look around the logging site. I smell something burning, and I don't hear any engines running. Wait, something isn't right. Was it the bulldozer? Maybe the damn thing overheated for the last time. Maybe the engine finally blew. What a mess. Maybe I'm jumping to conclusions. Only one way to find out, I guess. I walk over to the center of the logging site, and I don't like what I see. The logging site looks like a bomb was detonated. Sorry. The logging site looks like a bomb was detonated right in the center. I don't know where to start. The one load we had managed to stack on a truck for the day is overturned. The trailer bent and the logs hanging over the back. Where the hell is everyone? My head is killing me and there's ringing in my ears. I can't hear anything. Not birds. Not my footsteps. Nothing. It makes me wonder if I hit my head after my hard hat flew off. I run through a quick mental checklist to make sure my brain is still working. My name is Roger Hastings. I am 41 years old. The year is 2017. I own a small logging company and I've been logging in this strip of Kentucky woodland for almost a month now. Okay, so my brain works. That's a relief. But it also makes me feel... Okay, so my brain works. That's a relief. But it also makes me fearful because something is certainly not right here. I look around the logging site, my mind trying to figure out what happened. Just about every piece of equipment has been overturned or tilted. So, he just described that everything was overturned and tilted and all that sort of stuff. So looking at the debris isn't going to tell you much, because you've just told yourself what it looks like. So looking at the truck, because someone could have been working in the truck, or with the truck, or something like that. The truck. The hitch is completely broken, like it was blown off in an explosion or a really bad accident. Had there been an explosion, all of the fuel on the site would have started a fire. But there's no charring, no burning, nothing. I walked through the area where Dennis had been working. From the looks of it, he'd been moving slowly. He'd only taken down 4 trees today. His metal lunchbox is open and indicated that he had been taking an early break. But he's not here. No one is. Where the hell is everyone? I could try to make a call on my cell phone, but its battery is already running really low. Not that it matters, the reception out here is crap. So it just stated that you might need your battery basically in the future, and calling someone is pointless because there's no service. So yelling out, if there's anyone in the area, they'll be able to hear you. But if you call someone, you may not even be able to call them and you've just wasted power. Hey guys, where is everyone? Tony? Dennis? Frank? Joe? But their names fall flat among the wreckage. I get nothing back other than scaring away a few birds overhead. Might as well start walking and try to find some answers. The highway is almost a mile back through the woods, down the gravel road we used to reach the site. Maybe the crew ran that way for help. But why would they have left me? Were they scared? Out of sorts? Maybe I can catch up to them. But with my truck turned over on its side, it looks like I'll be walking. Odd. I can't even remember what I was doing before waking up on my back. Wait. What's that? Underneath the bulldozer. Oh my god, it's a leg. It has to be either Tony or Dennis. The dozer looks unstable, like it might roll over some more. Might not be safe to get too close, but at the same time, I can't just leave him there. This is quite a tough decision, but I know that if you go look, you'll be okay. Kinda. But staying back, I believe a person in this situation would want closure, so I'm gonna go look. Hey, I yell. Are you okay? Are you alive? I skip over the stray logs and wrecked equipment to get closer. Seeing the dozer teeter makes me think maybe I should have grabbed my hat. I can see a bit more of the leg. The jeans are soaked in blood. I recognize the work boots. It's clearly Tony. His leg is bent at an impossible angle, nearly crushed flat. The closer I get, the more apparent it becomes Tony did not survive. Okay, so he said that the bulldozer was teetering as he tried to stumble over the logs. So pulling the body out could just upset the balance of it just enough to make it roll over and kill me. So by leaving the body alone, it's technically the safest option. There's nothing I can do for him now. I start to back away slowly. In my shock, I stumble back, suddenly tripping over one of the stray logs. I bang my head hard against one of the logs as I fall. Instantly, I can feel a massive lump forming on the back of my head. Damn, why didn't I grab my hard hat? But what hurts more is the realization that Tony is dead. Looking at him, I feel something rising up in my throat. I don't know if it's a scream or vomit. But I have to put it away. If I lose my cool right now, there are too many questions that will go unanswered. Shit. I can't believe this. Tony. He had 2 boys. He coached his oldest son's baseball team. And he was the hardest worker I had, and one of the most honest and reliable men I knew. This isn't right. I can't stay here. I have to find Dennis, Frank, and Joe. I have to find out what happened here. So, obviously they're loggers in, they're loggers in the Kentucky woods, obviously, and there's been an accident / explosion, and obviously Tony, which he was one of his workers, is dead. But otherwise I don't know what caused the explosion or anything like that. So yeah. As I walk through the stacks of log from the last week or so of work, everything feels frozen. This high-pitched sound in my ears, it's terrible. It keeps happening every few seconds, and it sounds like it's coming from far away. I can't help but wonder, is it my ears, or is it something else? The silence out here is creepy, and there's a smell, like the atmosphere after a bad summer storm. I might as well admit it. I'm a little scared. Everyone is missing, and it's dead quiet out here. There doesn't even seem to be a breeze to rustle the leaves and branches. My right knee hurts like hell. My head was hurting so bad before that I never even noticed the pain in my knee. I must have heard it during during what? Accident? Or... Wait, is that Dennis? I see him sitting down the ground, motionless, about 30 feet away. If someone's laying on the ground motionless and there's been a traumatic event, the last thing I want to do is scare them. So walking up to them I feel like if I walked up to them, I'd scare them. And then yelling out, I feel like I'd scare them too, but yelling out to someone is a whole lot less scary than someone actually walking up behind you. So I'm going to yell out. Dennis, I yell. Dennis, can you hear me? Dennis lets out a shout, like someone waking from a nightmare. He then looks back at me from the ground. Yeah, Roger, I hear you, he hollers back as I head over to him. Dennis is built like a wrestler, and he has the tough personality to match, but in this moment, he looks disorientated and even a little anxious. Though I'm glad to see him, the fear on his usually confident face is alarming. What the hell happened? What's going on? He asks. So, he's obviously panicked and scared and alarmed and anxious already. So saying that you don't know and that the crew that is missing is probably just going to fill him with more panic. So saying it's an explosion, you're not lying because you don't actually know what caused it. An explosion is the most logical idea of what could have happened at this stage. An explosion, Dennis says. Yeah, I believe that. Why do you say that, I ask. Did you see something? He doesn't respond. Still sitting on the ground, he looks around the woods as if he's just now understanding the severity of the situation. The equipment was overturned, the dozers too, I said, wiping my forehead. You okay, I ask? Yeah, just shaken up. Me too. This might be the most intimate conversation Dennis and I have ever had. While he and I have always been on good terms, we've never been particularly close. I've always respected him though. Sure, he's come to work a few times looking like he'd been in a bar fight the night before, but I've also seen him do an enthusiastic impression of a dinosaur as he played with Tony's kids while they waited for their dad to finish up his shift. It's then that it hits me. Dennis and Tony were good friends. I'm not sure I want to rattle him with the news of Tony's death right now, but not before we know what's going on. But he has a right to know. So usually when you get decisions like this, it's really a choice of honesty. And sometimes honesty is the best decision. Like being honest with Dennis right now, telling him Tony is dead is probably the best decision, because if you don't tell him Tony's dead and in the future of the game he finds out, that destroys a lot of trust that between two characters, between Dennis and whoever I am. I just forgot the name. So I'm going to say Tony is dead, even though that's really upsetting, but I feel like it's good to be honest in this situation. You were upfront with Dennis about Tony. I feel bad now. Dennis's eyes fixate on me, startled. He was crushed under the dozer, I say. Dennis pauses for a moment, like he's trying to understand what I said. His eyes narrow and his bottom lip quivers. Shit, he says. And I can tell that he is fighting back tears. He and Tony had been tight, almost like brothers. Hey, he adds quickly, as if trying to escape the reality of Tony's death. Did you see that light? No, I say. What did you see? I don't even know, Roger. He says it was like a flare of white light. It came right up out of the ground, like an explosion. So there was an explosion, I say? Maybe it was some equipment or... This was no equipment, Dennis interrupts, agitated. This huge ball of light came right out of the damn ground. Okay, so asking what did it look like feels like a dumb question, because he just described it to me, that it was a ball of white light that came straight out of the ground. Yeah. So asking where it went, or where did it go, is a better question, because you can sort of, I don't know, then you sort of track where it came from and stuff. It just shot up into the sky until it was out of sight. When? I'm not sure, he answers, but I had finished about 10 trees for the day, and was about to top one. That's when it happened. You were almost done with about 10 trees, I asked. Yeah, looking at the ground. You know, I wouldn't want to make a lunch break until I was done. And that's when the light blew up. Why? Don't you believe me? Okay. Before, and now I'm certain of this because I tried recording this yesterday, but it never worked because I stuffed up. But right at the start of this, when Roger, who's my character, went to the site, he said Dennis had only cut down about 4 trees for the day and his lunchbox was open. But Dennis just said that he'd chopped down about 10 trees for the day and that he wouldn't want to have a lunch break until he was done. So this is going to put me in a predicament. Do I just trust him blindly, knowing what I've already seen, or do I say to him, I feel like you're exaggerating? Because I don't want to agitate him, but then again, I feel like something's up. I'm going to see what I think you're exaggerating is gonna be, but I'm afraid I'm gonna feel bad because I'm afraid it's gonna ruin something. But I picked up on that, and yeah, anyway, I'm just gonna do it. You didn't quite believe Dennis's story. You think I'm making this up? You think I got whacked on the head and started seeing things? No, Dennis, it's just... Get the hell away from me, he interrupts. I don't need this. Get away from me. I fucked up. Dennis, come on. Look, the highway is more than a mile away. We could be... Fine, he shouts. Let's just get moving. Just keep your distance. We both stand up and start heading towards the road. It isn't until we start moving that I see Dennis is wounded. His right side is coated in blood and the red seeping through his blue lecture. There are plenty of spatters here and there, but also a very large splotch that makes me worry. Okay, since I just effed up that lovely relationship I had going there, I'm just gonna ask, are you in a lot of pain? Because how'd you get that injury feels too straight and up, like, yeah, sounds too forceful. What do you care, he snaps. He clearly still resents me from not believing his whole story. But what happened to him? Maybe it was being thrown by whatever the explosion was. It's then that I notice that quite a strange ringing noise is still filling the air. Hey, I say, stopping. Do you hear that high-pitched ringing noise every once in a while? Dennis looks scared when I ask him this question, and he nods. I thought it was just me, he says. He looks out of sorts and uncertain. I've never seen him like this before. It's obvious that he's looking for reassurance. And though I'm his boss, there's something very unnerving about this. Okay, so, the first stage of trying to recover this relationship that I just mutilated, is admitting you're freaked out is not really reassuring, so going with, we'll be okay, it's probably nothing. I can imagine his reply is going to be like, stop lying, but it's the best thing to do. Let's be realistic, I tell myself. I might as well try to be empathetic. Out here in the middle of these woods, and the ringing noise could be anywhere. Maybe a car, an alarm, through the woods or something. Still, even my passive comment seems to have reassured Dennis. He looks a bit calmer and a bit more relaxed. We both start moving forwards and don't say another word. Did you try to ring Frank? Dennis asks. I know he had his cell on him today. Not yet. Luckily, I still have some battery left. I pull out my cell and call Frank, happy I didn't make that call to Dennis earlier. It rings, but he doesn't pick up. And then I hear his phone go off, behind the stack of logs. Dennis and I give each other a look. As his phone goes to voicemail, I hang up, and we walk around the logs to find Frank's phone on the ground, abandoned. We look for Frank, but find nothing, not a single trace. It's then that I notice something really odd. A 10-foot wide hole in the ground, right near where the phone was. There's no stray piles of removed dirt or rock. It's clean, smoothly dug, cutting into the earth, wide, but only a few feet deep. It looks unnatural, like the ground was just deleted, no shovels or diggers used. Dennis walks over to it. This looks like the same kind of hole where I saw that light come from the ground, he muses to himself. I say nothing, my mind is spinning, but I don't know what to think. We need to get out of here, Dennis mutters. At that moment, that ringing noise carries through the forest again, sending a shiver down my spine. Dennis is right. There's something strange going on, and we might not be safe here. But that ringing sound could also be a clue to where the rest of the crew went. I feel like if I say agreed, let's get away from here, I feel like I'm ditching my crew members, and they could be hurt, or they could be going to get hurt. So saying let's check out that sound, it might agitate Dennis more. But what's the difference between one person and two? Is it two left? Oh, well, that's a terrible comparison to make. But at the same time, these are other people that you guys are both friends with. So I would go check out that sound in case it had something to do with my friends. Sorry. You decide to check out the sound. Something's not right, I say, and if there's a mechanical noise like that. You think someone is out here, he asks. Maybe. I think we should at least check it out. They might be able to help. Yeah, you go right ahead, he says with a grin. I'll be here waiting for you. Better hurry, though. Dennis doesn't look like he's in the best shape to be crouching around the forest, but we need some answers right away, too. Okay, so leaving Dennis here, I feel like he would get in trouble, or whatever that white light was might come and hurt him. So taking Dennis with me, even though he's probably not going to like that, because he's being an asshole at the moment, I reckon that's the best choice. You decide to bring Dennis along. No, you're coming with me. I bend over and hoist him up against my shoulder. He resists just barely, then gives in. He's looking at me like he's terrified of me now, making a groan in his throat. We start moving through the woods quickly with no idea where the rest of the crew is. I worry they could be in danger. Every tree out here looks exactly the same. I grew up in the country and can find my way around the forest without much of a problem, but I'm feeling dizzy. I'm leaning against a tree when I see something that has no business being out here. Our logging crew has been out here for 3 weeks and I've never seen it before. It's a small building, sort of like a mixture of a shack and a bunker. It looks to be made of concrete, but moss, weeds, and plain old erosion has made it look sort of mystical. It looks like something out of a demented version of a medieval fantasy movie. What the hell is this? Dennis asks. I don't like making assumptions personally. I don't like making assumptions, so I reckon I have no idea. It's being honest. You purchased this land, right, boss? Dennis asks. Didn't you survey it? I certainly did. Getting a little defensive. But this wasn't here. Do you think the others maybe went in here? He asked nervously. Why would they do that? I ask. I don't know. But they aren't out here. And they aren't in... If they aren't inside, they're probably dead. Like Tony. He looks at the ground as he says this. I want to go inside. Not just to find my crew, but to also appease my own curiosity. That ringing noise is coming from somewhere inside. But something about this place seems incredibly strange, especially located all by itself out here. It simply does not belong. I wonder, do we just knock or just go in? Dennis asks. I can tell that he's trying to make a joke, but it falls flat. I'm starting to think his humor is a defense mechanism for his fear. We both look ahead, take a moment to realize what we are about to do, and start forward. We get no more than We get no more than 3 feet closer when Dennis wobbles. Okay, well, by the time you say, are you okay, he'd probably fallen down already. So reaching out and steadying him is better. Better. I reach out quickly, straining my injured knee. I barely make it in time, grabbing him under his arms and keeping him from hitting the ground. I'm okay, he said. Just, can you help me walk for a little while? Just help me inside, please. I can't deny him his request. I'd never seen him this week and it's a little uncomfortable to see. It makes me glad that I decided to keep him with me. I helped Dennis into the weird little building. The front door opens easily, even though there's clearly a lock on it. Maybe the lock was supposed to keep someone in. It's hard to tell. I still hear that ringing noise. It's definitely coming from in here. Stretching out in front of me is a small interior to match the outside. The building is totally empty. There's a concrete floor and a dingy, featureless walls. There are no windows, giving the place an even more isolated feel. Still, we hear the ringing noise, now coming from somewhere here. It's louder now, more prominent. The interior seems confined at first, but a small set of concrete steps leads about 5 feet down, revealing a corridor. It's a massive corridor, in fact. Like I'm in some kind of building underground. It seems to go on forever. This corridor is mostly dark, with emergency lights every 10 feet or so. I assume we're now underground because this corridor extends far beyond the walls of the building we entered. I realize that someone might not appreciate finding us here. So walking quickly in a corridor like this could echo, but tiptoeing quietly won't produce as much sound, and plus, you won't strain Dennis as much. I feel like a ghost, like I truly have no business being here. Dennis leans on me for support. We move slowly, our feet not making a sound. If anyone is in here, I want to make sure they don't hear us. We tiptoe forward as softly as we can. As I carry Dennis to the far end of this otherwise featureless place, I can see a flight of concrete stairs leading down. I have to set Dennis down on the floor. His weight is killing me. Dennis, are you okay? What the hell do you care? Dennis spits at me. Why start caring about me or the other guys on the crew now? I can still hear the ringing noise every so often coming from somewhere in here. I look ahead at the concrete stairs, pointing towards them so that Dennis sees them. Can you make it down those stairs? I asked. He stands up, slowly, and is visibly making an effort not to fall back down. Yeah, he says, and sounds a little irritated. He starts for the stairs without me, and I have no choice but to follow. We approach the stairs, and by just looking at them, I get the sense that we're crossing some sort of line here. There may well be no going back. Okay, that's kind of annoying me. Dennis is kind of really annoying me right now. Because saying I don't care. I've always cared about my crew. That's why I went to inspect the truck. That's kind of why I said we should inspect the noise. That's why I said I would take you with me. That's really annoying that his character is being kind of rude to Roger at the moment. It's kind of annoying, just minorly. But then again, but because I said that I don't trust his story, I don't blame him at the same time. As I head down the stairs, I notice they look aged. That damned ringing noise is somewhere below, louder than ever. I feel like I'm walking into the cellar of a haunted house, the light becoming scarce as the stairs take a slight turn. I can feel the temperature drop. Dennis makes it a few steps down before he's leaning on the wall. He's breathing like he just finished a marathon. Keeping up the pace probably wouldn't be good because he's losing blood, probably. And hello, he just said he's breathing like he just ran a marathon. So pausing to give him a break is the better option. Let's take a break, I say, putting my hand towards his shoulder to help steady him. Leave me alone, he says, pushing me away. He's still angry, but also scared. Something I understand. So we keep walking despite his animosity. I don't know how to say the word, sorry. Dennis clearly allows me to take the lead as we venture further down. As we do, my mind seems to lock in on the unknown fate of the rest of my crew. Frank is married, and I've met his wife a few times. A nice woman with a huge laugh. My heart sags a little bit when I realize I might never be able to hear him belting out a classic rock tune during the lunch break. Joe. Well, I didn't know too much about him. He's 22 years old and is considering community college. His folks are deadbeats, so he's been providing for himself since the age of 16 or so. Maybe I can still find them, and still get to hear Frank sing in his deep baritone voice after a few too many drinks. I have to make Dennis stay behind me as I stick a foot out in search of the next step. I can't help feeling like a child as a very powerful fear seizes me. I'm expecting a monster to reach out of the darkness, slicing into my throat. After what feels like forever, we come to the bottom of the stairs. We're closer to the ringing noise now. A door sits securely in the bottom and looks just out of place as I feel down here. A silver light seeps through, illuminating the area. The door is what looks like a panel with lots of labels and lights. A small embossed print above the panel says, Level 1 Entrance Gate, Transport Sector. And there's a button with no label. So pressing a button with no label, you don't know what it's going to do. And that's not good if you don't know what it's going to do. So inspecting the panel to find out what it might do may be a better option. The panel looks like a diagnostic or alert system of some kind, each label meant to communicate some status. Lockdown engaged, experiment in process, shutdown engaged. All those appear to be off, but one of the phrases has a slowly blinking red light next to it, the only powered light in the whole thing. Abnormal entity breach. What the hell? I slowly push the door open when Dennis suddenly steps out in front of me, taking the lead. "Let's go," he says. "I want to find out what the hell this place is." As Dennis walks through, that ringing or beeping, or whatever it is, gets a little louder. The door closes behind us with a click. I can't help but notice the wobble in Dennis's step as he lets out a grunt. You sure you're healthy enough to keep going?" I ask. "It doesn't matter. I just don't want to be in the woods right now." He seems scared, something I've never seen before. Angry? Yes. Upset? Yes. But Dennis is never scared. I feel like saying what's so dangerous is too upfront. And asking what did you see? He kind of did tell us what he saw though. He saw the white light. So I'm going to go with what did you see? "You know what?" Dennis says, clearly angry. "Never mind. I'm not going to tell you anything else. It's not like you'll believe me anyway. I've been so preoccupied with my own fear that I nearly forgot about the ringing noise. It had become just background noise. We take a few more steps and I can now see where we are. This makes no sense. Yet another thing that simply seems out of place. The shapes and muted colours of the metal are easier to identify, but it just doesn't belong here." I'm kind of really disappointed. Respect the dead. You and 36% of players left Tony's body where you found it. Secrets. You and 76% of players were upfront with Dennis about Tony's death. Trust. You and 45% of players told Dennis you didn't believe his story. Curiosity. You and 75% of players went to investigate the ringing sound. Teamwork. You and 64% of players decided to bring Dennis with you. Okay, yeah, as I was saying, I'm really disappointed at the moment in myself because I'm happy I made the link between the apparentness, I don't know whether that's the right word, but of Dennis, of when Roger walked into the site and saw Dennis had only cut down 4 trees and his lunchbox was open, and then him saying that he didn't believe Dennis's story because he said that he'd cut down 10 trees and didn't want to stop until he had done 10 trees to have lunch. It sort of added a little bit of, it did add that doubt in his story because you don't know whether he was actually being honest. But to be honest, the way that Dennis has reacted about it is kind of really frustrating me because I feel like just then when I asked what did you see and stuff and he said I'm not going to tell you and stuff, it got really frustrating because I felt like I'd made the wrong decision. So I really hope that I haven't made a decision so early in the thing that has messed up the rest of it. Otherwise I'm going to be really disappointed. But then at the same time it gives my playthrough a little bit more variation to the one I've already seen. That's the only thing I can hope. But anyway, it's kind of frustrating. But anyway, yeah. I'm gonna leave the episode here. There's 5 different chapters in this, so I'm probably just gonna do 5 different episodes, do a chapter each episode. And personally, as much as I'm frustrated at that decision, I'm really enjoying it. I find it really intriguing, and I'm really looking forward to finding out more as I go deeper into the story. And I hope you guys are too. I hope that it doesn't get too boring. I'm sorry once again that you have to listen to me talk about it all the time, but at least you have some really cool pictures to watch at the same time and some really cool background music that the game has. So yeah. If you enjoy the video, please drop a like, hit subscribe, and even turn on notifications. And I should be back soon with another episode of Buried. Thank you very much.